God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Guys, today I want to talk about this new trailer that was released for Final Fantasy VII the Remake coming out for PS4, and I just want to talk about it because this is the mammoth in the room, right? For RPG lovers, JRPG lovers, this is massive. This is a big deal, and it's going to be very interesting to see if they can pull this off. I mean, you want to talk about a picky crowd. You want to talk about people who are the elite of the elite as far as expectations on a game. I don't know if it gets any more narrow of a path to walk than trying to remake Final Fantasy VII, argued by many, not me, but argued by many to be the best Final Fantasy ever made. It was the game that got a lot, millions of people interested in RPGs for the first time. There's still many people out there that this was the only actual RPG they ever played was Final Fantasy VII on PS1, so it's a very big deal. So guys, we don't have to get into all that completely today, but let's watch this trailer in its entirety first, and then we'll break it down, and I want to talk a little bit about some things from it.
Hands up!
Have fun.
I'm here for you, to help take the load off your shoulders.
So, what's our next move, boss?
That's easy enough.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Here, this is for you.
A flower?
Can you bear to see the planet suffer, Cloud?
Okay, so a couple of things here. That was number one. That was a great trailer. Square-Enix is definitely ahead of the game as far as how to get people hyped and really show off a lot of things in a small amount of time. It was only a little bit over a minute long of a trailer, and there was a ton of things there to break down. So number one, I want to talk a little bit about that block mechanic we saw, okay? We already knew, if you've been following this game at all, then you already know that they were already talking about that no, it will not be the turn-based system that we knew and loved from the original game. They are going to mix some action into that, make it a little bit more, in a battle, a little bit more action-oriented. Some people say, Final Fantasy XV, some elements from that at least. Most of us, though, would rather compare it to, their most recent title, which was Kingdom Hearts 3. So, however you want to look at that, doesn't matter. You do notice there's a blocking mechanic being used here that's triggered by the player. It's not an automatic thing like you'd expect, a chance, dice roll kind of thing, but actually requiring the player's input. Now, on that, I would also like to draw your attention to some of these battle scenes down in the bottom left there where normally your action menu would be, and you'll notice that there's some slots there that the player has put. You can tell that because of some potion slots, abilities, and things like that there, so it's customizable. Which brings me to the other thing that I want to talk about. Notice the materia slots in the Buster Sword that Cloud uses, and notice that those slots are there and they're filled in most of these scenes. You can see that it's visually showing you the materia that you've entered. We knew, they've already talked about that the materia system would be making a return because it was beloved by the fans. I would argue so was the turn-based battle system, but whatever, we'll take what we can get, but besides the actual battle system not being turn-based, it does, from this trailer, really look like that this game is going to be very faithful to the original game. Even the way some of these scenes are being played out, the actions that they're actually performing, their attacks, the animation, the cinematic scene with Aerith at the beginning, all these things are looking very, very clean and like a very smooth transition from Final Fantasy VII PS1 to Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4. And I couldn't be more happy that they understand that this is sacred. They're walking on sacred ground here, and they can't just pop in and change everything and make a new game with the baseline same characters. It's not going to go well if they do that. Now, I also think that we're in a new age where remakes are more understood now of how to make them, especially in Japan, because we just recently, and I know this isn't related to Final Fantasy VII or even the company making it, but Capcom just remade Resident Evil 2 recently, and they did a fantastic job of keeping the spirit of the game alive, and it's still feeling like it definitely is Resident Evil 2, but with many improvements, and that's so hard to do. I would not want to be a guy in those shoes having to try to do that, because you have these super faithful people who love this game. It's not like they're like, yeah, that was a cool game. No, these people love this game. This game means so much to so many people. It's like their childhood wrapped up into one video game, basically, for a lot of people. It's important that they get these elements exactly correct, and like I said before, I don't envy them for being in that, but you can see that the detail is immense, massive amounts of detail. The animation's on point. The monsters, I still know who they are. I can compare them to the old game. I know already what they're going for. Each monster they showed, I knew who they were, and they just look so much better now. Of course, we're generations away from the original release, so obviously it's going to look better. But I'm just saying, like, to keep that kind of soul intact and remake a game is not easy to do, and I am beginning to get a lot of faith in Square-Enix that they're going to get this right. If you look at the team that they've surrounded, for this remake, you can see that they're taking it very seriously. Now, Final Fantasy VII, as far as I'm aware, they haven't taken it back. That they said they like to do it in episodic releases. That I'm still a little bit concerned about that. I just feel like that kind of can hurt the overall sales of the game, as, maybe it's massive sales on episode 1, maybe it's really good sales on episode 2, 3, 4, okay, now you don't have as many buyers, I should say. You don't have as many buyers there. So, I don't know how I feel about episodic. Of course, I'm not running a gargantuan company like Square-Enix, so who cares about my opinion on that? But guys, I just want to show this off to you and talk a little bit about that. Did you notice the materia in the Buster Sword? Do you recognize these monsters and animations and all that kind of thing that are in it? Are you beginning to grow a lot of faith? It seems like this trailer was very well received, and like I said before, amazing how much detail they fit into that little 1-minute clip. And guys, one more thing before I go, I do want to also talk about, in case you're not aware, that on June 10th is probably there's a panel from Square-Enix, and that's probably when we're going to learn more. And I actually think, now that Kingdom Hearts 3 is released and all that, they didn't want to confuse their consumer base, so they kind of held off on the information for 7 to give Kingdom Hearts 3 a little love and attention and make sure it got all the attention it deserved. And now it's time for Final Fantasy VII, and I do believe on that June 10th panel, I do believe that we're going to get to hear finally a release date and probably a ton more to look at and observe and talk about as far as footage and things like that. It does seem like they're going to stick mainly. They may kind of tease some things outside of it, but I do believe that most of the footage we'll see will be Midgard, the beginning stages of the game like we've been seeing so far, because they don't want to give away too much, they want there to still be that grand, new feel and excitement when we get out of Midgard, out into the world and all that kind of stuff. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Are you hyped for this game? Is your hype level dead for anything Square Enix does? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that feel that way. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and until next time, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm it's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize, but just please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.